All right, happy Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, as the case may be, everybody, and happy Big 12 Series win for Red Raider baseball. Welcome to Diamond Talk, presented by Thacker Jewelry, West Texas legends, creating unique memories for you, one ring at a time, right here in West Texas. Thank you, Thacker Jewelry, for coming back again this year to sponsor Diamond Talk, our recap of Texas Tech baseball. Every weekend, a couple of times we get together. We'll talk some baseball today with you guys as you get in on Twitter Live, on YouTube, and on Facebook. United Supermarket's going to take care of the comments section. So jump in there, fire away, get your thoughts in on Texas Tech. Winning 10-1 today, nearly the run roll out there at Danlaw Field, a coolish Danlaw Field today. The wind blew about three different ways all weekend. Kind of tried to blow out maybe a little left today, but it really could never get around to doing it. So they take the series, the first one now 4-5 in the Big 12, 17-7 on the year. Nobody has more wins in the Big 12 right now overall than Texas Tech with 17 wins. Keep that in mind as we go through tonight. We're in the Arctic Air Studios, and if your air is not Arctic enough in the coming hot days of spring and summer, you know what to do. Call the Bear. All right, let's get it going. Let's talk some baseball, shall we? What better thing to do on a Saturday afternoon than recap a series with you in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You check out everything we do on the website, multi-platform network, from Twitter to Facebook, YouTube channel. Subscribe to them all. Never miss a thing. We're looking at Tech baseball today. 10-1 winners over BYU. Dropped the first game of the series 8-5. And just, when you got done Thursday night, as I said, it was fine not to push the panic button, to mill about, though, in a concerned fashion. You come back last night, you win 4-3 in the Friday night game, gave up the 2-run bomb in the top of the ninth to make it interesting, walked it off in the bottom of the ninth. And today, Texas Tech really in control from the get-go, winning 10-1. Just every inning, just a run here, a run here, a run here, a run here. The bullpen was fantastic today with Jacob Rogers and Hatera getting out there and shutting them down, and it was never in doubt. So you get your first Big 12 win in 3 series tries, and you're sitting there looking at the standings right now, and even with Oklahoma, I believe they're at 7-0 now. And you could say, well, they're running away with it. Nobody's really running away with it right now. But we get your comments, your questions, your thoughts. What did you like today? What did you like this weekend? Things that impressed you. Let's talk some baseball. The RPI is a problem right now. The good news is you've got plenty of time to address it with right now 6 series for sure against teams that are ahead of you in the RPI. You started the day around 63. You'd been as bad as 70 coming into the weekend on that D1 baseball. When we talk about RPI, we mean D1baseball.com, the Bible, the best. Kendall Rogers and his crew, nobody does it better than D1baseball.com. Only ratings you care about, their RPI, and their rankings if you like rankings, to have a number put against it. So by the time Monday rolls around, you'll probably be around 60 to 55. You've got plenty of time against great teams to get that RPI well back within NCAA tournament realm of 30 to 20 and somewhere in through there. But yeah, we look at these games the last couple of days, and last night, Kyle Robinson, he gave you what you needed. Doesn't end up getting the win last night. The win gets vultured, a complete vulture of a win there in the ninth by Free. But Kyle Robinson gave you everything you needed last night, I think. And he's been, I think, a legit Friday, Saturday guy. And we used to talk about Friday guys. Now we say Saturday, you throw your most consistent guy, your best chance, because either you're evening a series up or you're trying to win it on Saturday. He went 6. Best thing about it, no walks, 5 Ks, not enough run support early on. Again, Ryan Free comes in, he vultures it with the 1 inning, gave up the jack, and then you get bailed out in the bottom of the ninth. So that was cool. That's okay. So Robinson gives you what you wanted there. Today, Washburn, not bad. He scuffled too many walks today. But the bullpen with Jacob Rogers and Hatera today, Rogers and Hatera just combining to, as they used to say on the old ticket, shut up your tailpipe. traffic and weather together. What were the numbers there? Yeah, Rogers today gets credit for the win. 3 innings of scoreless relief, 3 strikeouts, no walks. Atera today, 4 strikeouts, no walks. That's about as good as you can get for 5 innings of relief in the Big 12. And Rogers showing the kind of stuff today that you need out of a guy like that. I think it was Haxton on the radio broadcast that I heard mention at one point. And you see this sometimes with guys who throw hard, and he throws 93, 94. That's still pretty hard. Oh, what, he doesn't throw 100? Yeah, not everybody throws 100. By the way, the radar guns, they lie. Anyhow, Haxton made the point that sometimes he probably throws it so hard, he throws through the break, that the pitch flattens out on him. Today, he had really good up and down movement. Looked like he was varying speeds pretty well. Had BYU off balance and gave you the kind of look of a guy that you can trot out there once or twice in a Big 12 series and get 2 or 3 innings worth of outs. That's huge. Atera, same thing. He came in with just a little bit of attitude, and we liked it. We liked it a lot. So that impressed us. Let's go back and talk about the lineup. You guys fire your questions away. Thanks to United Supermarkets. By the way, tomorrow, if you're going to the store, look for the ad specials, particularly in the butcher shop, in the meat section. Look for the ad specials because they do just an amazing amount of specials on the weekend, and Sunday is the day to load up. So we talk about some changes in the lineup this weekend. And we'll go back and I'm moving some stuff around here so I can see it. So you get Kevin Bazell back behind the plate. Had a jack today, by the way. After getting his left wrist, the catching wrist, the glove hand hit on a backswing there in the 7th, I think, which you're sitting there going, please don't be broken. Don't be broken. Don't be broken. Just be hurting. And then he comes back and gets a home run. So nice to have him back in the lineup. Nice to have him back behind the plate. He may very well be the best offensive player that Texas Tech has on the roster. And he gets his first RBIs in about a month. Welcome back. So what'd you do if you're Tim Tadlock? You're never afraid to shuffle the lineup. You're never afraid to try to figure out what's going to work. And we talk about stretching out the lineup to try to extend innings and maximize the outcomes. The Pythag, there are certain outcomes you can get in an inning and you get 1 run or no runs. There are certain outcomes, if you get it in the right order, you get 3 or 4 runs. And even though today you didn't hang up a bunch of crooked numbers, I like where they went with the lineup this weekend. You got Stripling up there. He DH'd. He's leading off. Bravo yesterday hitting second. Today again, 2 hits today with an RBI. So even in the first inning yesterday, you saw this work out there. Bravo steals a base, and then McGee, 303 on the year, pretty good contact hitter in that 3-hole. He comes in, and you get a run out of it. So now you do that, and this is where the lineup I really think gets really interesting here, is you got Green and Wright hitting fourth, and then Woodcock's left field, and then Cash hitting down in the order a little bit. So now all of a sudden Cash has become the bat protecting Woodcock's and Green just a little bit, and you've got maybe the most professional hitter in your lineup in Bazell sitting there behind Cash, Pompey, and then Lopez down there at the bottom of the order. And you can move Pompey around. Where did they have him yesterday? I got to go back and look at last night's lineup on Pompey. Yeah, so they had Maxey behind the plate last night. So this is the first time you had Bazell behind the plate. So last night on the box, Maxey there. Was that the starting lineup on that one? Just to make sure I've got it right. So yeah, he had Maxey behind the plate. So you had Lopez and then Pompey 7-8. So you moved it around just a little bit today as you worked Bazell back in. Point being that what you saw was, I think, the lineup, the way it's going to look going forward. Not every game, maybe. Not every game, because it's Tim Tadlock. But I think they have really not stumbled upon. They've done it intentionally. Figure out ways to maximize what these guys are doing well right now. Not what you thought they'd do well in the beginning of the year, not what you thought they'd do well a week or two in. What they're doing well now, what they're capable of doing. And I truly think this is a pretty good lineup going forward. And speaking of going forward, so now you're off to, what is it, UCF, and then it's Houston after that. So your next two conference opponents, when you look at the Big 12 standings, Houston has lost 3 in a row. And remember, Tech's ahead. Everybody's on their Saturday schedule. It feels like Sunday right now. So Tech's a game ahead, sitting there at 5 and 4 and 5 in the Big 12, along with BYU. So West Virginia at 2 and 2, Texas 2 and 2, Cincy 3 and 3, Kansas 4 and 3, Houston 4 and 3, Kansas State 3 and 1, and Oklahoma 7 and 0. That's going to regress at a certain point, okay? Just trust me on Oklahoma. But how many of those teams ahead of you do you get to play if you're Texas Tech? Everybody except Texas. And that's what we mean about the opportunity. So UCF at 2 and 5, and then you'll catch Houston 4 and 3, but they're again regressing to the mean. So you can panic if you want to, but there's no reason to. You can worry about this team if you want to, but and the start is not ideal. But with the RPI where it is, who you get to play going forward, what I'm seeing right now is a team that I think is going to make the NCAA tournament, finish in the top, I think, 4 or 5, but probably 4 in the Big 12. Could do better than that. I like where your starting pitching is with Robinson. I do think you're still trying to figure a few things out, So let's go back here, and he's given up home runs. David Collier, KMAC 28, Red Raider Nation, has pointed out that darn near every run he's given up in Big 12 play has been a home run. And that's because he throws strikes too much. Waste a pitch. Get it off the plate. Young, freshman, he's learning. Washburn today he wasn't great. He wasn't bad. He just went too deep in counts. And he's kind of a guy that at times I watch him and I go, hey, pitch me a little more contact. But I think you get some outs that you can pitch to the bat. You can get some outs that way. You don't strike everybody out as fascist. So your 3 starting pitchers after that. Now the midweeks, and we'll talk more about that. What's Tech midweek this week? Hold on, I gotta look. Stephen F. All right, so Stephen F. You'd think I'd have a schedule right in front of me. I do. I just can't find it on other crap under my desk, so I had to look at the big wall calendar. You got to get Zane Petty going, man. Zane, you got to win some games because this team is going to have to win some midweek games without expending too much energy. And by that, I mean not throwing a lot of pitching. So you're going to need to do that. And I think Petty can be the guy. I still truly believe he can. All right, your chance to get in, questions, comments, otherwise. You on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. And I know everybody's a little off schedule with it feeling like it's Sunday, but it's not. And I think we're going to do that. Now we may come back with you again tomorrow and recap the weekend in the Big 12 and the weekend in the NCAA and everything else. I assure you, when you go to theraiderland.com tomorrow, you will find our column, 5 Things We Know on a Sunday, and that'll be good as well. So let's see. What have we missed so far that we wanted to get in? Okay. Hey, if you think crazy stat of the weekend. Texas Tech was 27 of 27 in stolen bases until Matheny blows another call at second. He was obviously, the second base umpire today was obviously a former catcher because he blew 2 stolen base calls, calling out when it was obviously safe. And even replay, they wouldn't overturn it because I think they felt bad for him. But Tech was 27 of 27 in stolen bases. Now 27 of 28. And it should be 28 of 28. He was completely safe. Well, there you go. So that was the weird stat of the day of the weekend. And then the other weird thing, so we're sitting there today and, we're knee deep in March Madness. We're knee deep in keeping up with Tech baseball and everything else. And you look at the schedule and, you got Stanford coming up. They're going to play in Lubbock. You played there last year, year before. I think it was last year. And of course, you got the midweek to Arkansas, which is going to be just a handful, absolutely. So I was sitting there looking today as we were going through, going, all right, opportunities to improve RPI wise. What can you do? And okay, yeah, Stanford. You got Stanford. That'll help. And I started looking at the D1 baseball RPI, and I'm like, going, hell, Stanford. And I hadn't been paying attention to them day by day. Knew they weren't ranked, but Stanford, right? So if you're a Tech fan, if you're a football guy and you're a little frustrated right now, Stanford is 9-8. Their RPI is 188. Here, when you play them, it's going to hurt you bad if you lose at home to Stanford. The vagaries of scheduling, if you're Tim Tadlock, you sit there and go, hey, we finally get Stanford in a home and home. We finally get Stanford coming in. This will be great. And they're freaking 188 in the RPI. And it's worse than that. They're 9-8. They haven't played anybody any good. They're 9-8 in the against RPI teams of 101 to 200. What are you doing, Stanford? You're killing us. We need to just that series needs to get rained out. Let's just say it right now. That series needs to get rained out, bad weather, something, and go play like, I don't know, Tarleton or Stephen F. or New Mexico. Somebody that's not going to hurt you this year. I said it, New Mexico, in the RPI. Amazing. Chris says, I was waiting. Most Texan thing we did today, just to say blew up a beaver dam in their home with Tanner. Why you hate the beavers? What'd they do to you? Well done, though. It's almost as good as Caddyshack and blowing up the Gophers. Pardon me, sir, if we kill a lot of Gophers, wouldn't the members be upset? They'll go to jail. Stanford. You kill me. All right. Last chance to get your questions, comments in. We can go back real quick. Let's see if we can find this on the D1 baseball. Today in the Big 12, UCF beating Kansas 6-2 there in Lawrence at Hoagland. It used to be Hoagland Malpin ballpark. Now it's just Hoagland. I don't know what happened to the Malpin guy. I guess he died a long time ago and didn't give any more money. So it's just Hoagland. Cincinnati and St. Louis, that's in baseball, 13-4 final Cincinnati wins. You've got Baylor in Texas. They're in Austin today. So Texas does win that one over Baylor 10-2. Come on, Bears. We need Bears to win this one tomorrow. West Virginia and Oklahoma, we are top 9. Oklahoma's about to lose their first game of the year, maybe there at Mitchell, Eldell Mitchell, home of the Berms. 9-2 the score there. Tonight, TCU and Oklahoma State in Stillwater at O'Brate. And then at 7:30, Kansas State in Houston, down there in Houston at Schroeder Park, which if I haven't been there in a long time, but if you're going to call it Schroeder Park, you need to have like Schroeder from Peanuts playing piano or something, or like a sign or something like that out there. So yeah, that's what we got score-wise in the Big 12 today. Go back. Your RPI, in case you're wondering, your top RPI teams right now, Florida State is 19-0. They made the change from Martin Jr. And broke free from that. Mike Martin passed, and they're 19-0 right now. Number 1 RPI strength of schedule is 40. Clemson is 2 at 19-2. Arkansas 19-2 is 3. OU, by virtue of being, like undefeated type stuff in the Big 12, they're sitting there at 4. They're 14-7. They're at 4. And mostly they're 8-0 against RPI 1 through 25. North Carolina 5 on the RPI. Oregon State 6. Oregon State's got a cat who has led off 3 straight games with a home run, by the way. I don't know if his name is Ricky Henderson or not. Nebraska Hey, we remember when Nebraska was good around here, right? They're 7th in the RPI at 16-5. But they've played no. This is really an odd function of the schedule. Strength of schedule is 14, right? Okay, how is that possible? This is where math gets weird because they're 0-1, 1 through 25. Most of their games have been outside of the top 50. Kentucky at 8 in the RPI, they'll fall. Notre Dame 9, we know they're not good, and then A&M 10. So UCF is your second highest rated Big 12 team in the RPI. The strength of schedule is 9. And this is where it's still real early in the RPI because, again, we go to the Big 12 standings and there's UCF 2-5, 13-6 overall. But we point all this stuff out to say there's a lot of baseball left. There's a ton of changes that are going to happen. And really the big movement is going to be over the next 3 weeks. The last week of March, the first 2 weeks of April, you'll convolute some of this stuff. You'll put it in a blender and a washing machine. You'll shake it up. In about April 19th, 21st, that's when we'll have a really good feel about where you are. And that gives you the last few weeks of regular season Big 12 to do what you need to do. And then obviously going into your conference tournaments and you solidify the seeds from a national standpoint. My point being, and I do have one, hopefully that you guys are realizing it's a long marathon. It's a long way from here to there. And you may not think that it was a big deal to go 2-1 against BYU. It was. May not think that was a big deal. It is. And you set yourself up going forward. All right. We hope you enjoyed Diamond Talk tonight. Brought to you by, of course, Thacker Jewelry. All the great love stories begin with West Texas Originals, created, of course, by Joe Thacker and Thacker Jewelry. Here in the Arctic Air studio, comments brought to you tonight by United Supermarkets. Got to hit the end stream. We'll post this. You guys can share it. We'll be back with you tomorrow. 5 things we know on a Sunday. And I got a feeling we're going to jump on with you tomorrow night and just recap the whole weekend because we can. Why wouldn't we? See you then.